Good evening, everyone. My name is Tia Buss, and welcome to 5 o'clock somewhere on Toot Sweet Social Club. Cheers, Christopher. I've got Christopher Barefoot. He's my guest here in the studio tonight, and we're going to be talking about a really, really exciting event that is coming up this weekend. We want you to join Family Service of Napa Valley and their host, Robert Mondavi Winery. Both are alma maters, yes. I must say, along with dozens of other wineries and food purveyors for World of Wine 2013.
Exactly.
And how many years have you been doing this?
This will be our second year.
Second year, great.
So it's off to a good start.
That's excellent. Well, this is going to be a fantastic event that you're not going to want to miss. And I will say you need to pay attention closely throughout the show, because we're actually going to be giving you a couple of hints. First, there will be a tip a little bit later, after we talk for a bit, on how you can get 40% off tickets tonight. So we'll be talking about that shortly. In the meantime, you can also log on to Twitter, and you can tweet us questions using the handles @TootSocial or @5 o'clock, which I'm sure you're seeing on your screen right now. So we'll be monitoring that feed, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about the event or family services in particular. Now, I think that you also have to pay attention to, I don't want to forget this, because we're actually going to give away 2 tickets tonight to the event for free. Who doesn't love free stuff?
Free.
Free is the key word here, people, free stuff. So 2 tickets to give away, but you have to pay attention, because, you know, you'll have to be watching. We're going to give you a hint later as to how you can get your hands on those free tickets for World of Wine. So, Christopher, let's talk about Family Service of Napa Valley, because this is the whole point of this event, correct?
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And first, let me thank everybody here at Toot Sweet for organizing and letting us come on board and share what we're doing. Essentially, Family Service Napa Valley is one of the oldest charities in Napa Valley. Started in 1948, so we're just coming up on 65 years old. Its primary mission is really to provide mental health services and counseling to the community at large, regardless of age, or whether it's young, old, families, individuals, for people in crisis, dealing with depression and other mental illnesses, but also providing housing, transitional housing for people who are trying to really get reintegrated back and on their feet. And so while it started with some missions coming out of World War II, where people were coming back from the war and no one really understood what post-traumatic stress disorder was back then,
sure.
But it was really to make sure that these families were kept whole. Yeah. And as we see what's happening in our communities today, there's no less need today for mental health in our communities. And absolutely. So Family Services Napa Valley is really, that's our dedicated mission, is preserving.
Well, and Christopher, I should say, is actually president of the board of Family Services Napa Valley. He's also the estate director at Flowers Winery, which will be participating, one of the wineries participating in the event this weekend. But, you know, tell us a little bit, how big of a problem is this in the Napa County area?
Well, I think you have to look at mental health illness across the United States first. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's 1 in 5 people in the United States suffer from some form of mental illness, whether that's depression, schizophrenia, various forms of other crises that can exist. The bigger issue is that many of these people don't have insurance. And while Obamacare and sort of the mental health, the national health initiatives that are taking place will help to address some of that, there's still too many people who are going to fall through those safety nets and need access to competent mental health treatments. And so when you look in Napa County alone, I believe the numbers I've seen ranges, but roughly 18% or so of people are uninsured. And with that creates even greater need. And with now we're coming out of the downturn.
Right.
We had so much greater need during that period, but that need will continue as people try to get back on their feet.
That's terrific. That's wonderful. So you talked about some of the services. I understand you also do animal-assisted therapy.
Sure.
You know, a lot of us are big animal fans. I think they'd like to hear more about that.
Well, I think when you think about mental illness in general, it's very stigmatized, and people oftentimes have difficulty sharing how they feel, or they don't want to open up too quickly. This is especially prevalent in probably certain specific communities where people may feel stigmatized just to even be going to seek treatment.
Sure.
And with younger patients as well, animals make us smile. Animals break down those barriers. And,
absolutely. My dog makes me smile every day.
And when you think about it, it's like art therapy as well, where you start to express yourself through art. It's trying to break in and find that inner self that you can start to connect with and then express with the therapist that's working with you. So animals are obviously a part of that.
That's really wonderful. And, this is the only agency of its kind in Napa County. Is that correct?
Certainly, for the breadth of the services that we offer. You also offer services for both English-speaking and Spanish-speaking families, correct? Well, we have therapists that are fluent in Spanish. Given the larger Hispanic population in the county of Napa, it's absolutely essential that we be able to provide that service to them in their native language. I mean, that's obviously not going to try and go through translation.
Absolutely. And obviously they can't provide these services without the help of the members of the community. And this is where World of Wine 2013 comes into play. Tell us a little bit more about this event. This is your second year. What can people expect when they go?
Well, much like last year, we're going to be having the walk-around reception, which is what many people who've been to wine tastings before may have seen. But when you get there, you'll be greeted with a glass of sparkling wine. Our sponsors from Chandon are donating Blanc de Noir.
Lovely. We love bubbles.
Absolutely. Bubbles to kick off. Why not?
Got to start with
and then as they arrive upstairs, they will be greeted with a silent auction table with large format bottles that were from wineries ranging from Schaefer to Maryvale to many of the participating wineries that are pouring. And then essentially there'll be tables set up where there's wineries that will be mixed together across throughout the To Kalon Cellar. And you of course, have seen the To Kalon Cellar.
Yes, beautiful.
Probably one of the most beautiful sites in Napa Valley, cellars in Napa Valley, and just perfect for this kind of event where you have this walk-around tasting in a cool environment. And if it's as warm as it is today, people will be welcoming the opportunity to come inside.
It's been a hot one today, people.
But we have wineries. The whole point really of creating a world of wine was to not just focus on wines from Napa Valley or even just from Sonoma, but to really look at wines from various parts of the world, because much to Robert Mondavi's mission was to have wines stand in the company of the great wines of the world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Why not bring those great wines of the world to Robert Mondavi Winery?
Excellent. So who are some of the wineries that we'll get to taste while we're there?
Well, it's we've got some Napa Valley wineries. Stagland Family Winery will be there, which of course is a natural connection with their focus on their mental health events that they have in September. But also Trouchard Family Vineyards will be there. An interesting one that came upon RDV from Virginia. So we'll have a winery from Virginia.
Virginian wines are really breaking out, it seems like. We're hearing more and more about them.
This one will surprise you.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
Absolutely. It's called Rendezvous.
Oh, fun name.
Which is, absolutely. We have a biodynamic Riesling from Washington. We've got a Willamette Valley Pinot Noir from Rex Hill. There's about 30 wineries. So we also have ports from Portugal. We have some Rioja from Spain.
Wow.
Brunello di Montalcino from Italy.
Fabulous.
So you name the country of the wine producer world, we've tried to cover most of them.
That's great. And are any of the folks from these areas coming to pour them as well, or were they just donated in kind?
A lot of it was donated from especially the international wineries.
Yeah.
But we are working with educated wine professionals that are going to be representing those wines, so that it's not just someone pouring, it's someone that you can ask questions and say, well, tell me about what Brunello di Montalcino is, or tell me why is port called port, and that kind of thing. We can answer. They'll be certainly able to answer questions.
That's fabulous.
And of course, there's food there too.
Exactly. Well, let's get into that in just a moment. But first, I want to remind you that we are going to be giving away 2 tickets tonight, and I'm going to be willing to give away the first one right now. If you want to tell us, because I believe we covered this earlier, how many years that Family Service of Napa Valley has been in business, we would love to hear from you right now at Toot Social or at 5 o'clock. Tweet us, send us your answers. We'll be monitoring the Twitter feed, and hopefully we'll have a winner here shortly. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully you've been paying attention and been listening. But in the meantime, let's talk about the food, because no wine event is complete without food. Well,
and one of the things that we've done this year that's different from last year, so that if anybody that's listening today was there last year, is that we have added a dinner at the end of the event. So we have the reception area that's a time period which is going from 5 to 7:30, and then at 7:30 we'll move to the vineyard room at the Robert Mondavi Winery for the connoisseur dinner. But before that, people will have the opportunity to nosh on cheeses from the Oxbow Market, which will also be served with alongside some bread from Model Bakery. Osprey Seafood is offering salmon that's going to be used by Chef Jeff Mosier at Robert Mondavi Winery to do past hors d'oeuvres. The Q barbecue is going to be there serving as well, along with Napa General Store.
Ooh, yeah.
So we're going to have some eclectic mix of foods and for more of a reception style piece. And then Jeff is actually preparing some specific past hors d'oeuvres that will be circling through.
He's an amazing chef.
Absolutely.
I mean, just really cooks some amazing, amazing meals there at Robert Mondavi Winery. If you haven't had the pleasure of being able to taste his cuisine yet, then this would also be a good opportunity to do so. Not only through the main event with the past hors d'oeuvres and the wine tasting, but there is a very special dinner as well.
Yes.
Correct? That is a separate ticket price.
Correct.
But very, very limited and exclusive. So why don't you tell us about that?
So the connoisseur dinner that's following, we really wanted to give people the opportunity to after tasting all these wines and noshing on food, to kind of come together and really have a more of a finishing event for World of Wine. And so each of the tables, right now there maybe there's as little as 3 tables, but there'll be 8 people at each. One winery that's during the reception area will be hosting that table alongside the wines of Robert Mondavi Winery. So,
nice.
For instance, Flowers will be hosting a table.
Yes.
We'll be pouring our Sonoma Coast Chardonnay 2011 alongside the Fumé Blanc Reserve from Robert Mondavi Winery, and then our CV Ridge Estate Pinot Noir alongside their Cabernet.
Okay, I'm getting thirsty already.
I know. And what's great is it's an opportunity for the winemakers and representatives of the wineries to connect with the people who are attending, which is good for the agency as well, because then they know, of course, what our mission is, and it allows them to sort of solidify that communication of why we're there.
Yeah.
And, of course, people feeling good about what they're doing. I mean, part of why you support an agency is to feel good and do good.
Well, and when you have wineries like Staglin involved as well, where, Garen and Sherry Staglin are so well-versed in mental health issues and
so passionate about doing something about it.
Exactly, very passionate and longtime supporters. That adds another layer sort of depth to the experience that you're getting.
Absolutely, and I think the other piece is making sure that people have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, what better way than sitting around the table and sharing great wines and talking about what's going on in your life or just in wine country. That's part of the fun of it. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, one more time, if you want to tweet us your questions, or if you have the answer to how long Family Service of Napa Valley has been around, please tweet them to @TootSocial or @5o'clock, starting with the number 5. Tell me again about some of the major issues. What is probably the number one initiative that Family Service of Napa Valley is addressing? You think, what is the biggest issue?
Well, again, coming back out of the crisis where people were losing their homes and losing their jobs,
Sure.
You can imagine just the financial impact that has and the crisis that puts families into. One is first letting them know that we're there. I think one of the major initiatives isn't just about fundraising, although fundraising is certainly an important part of sustaining who we are, but letting people know who we are, that Family Service is here and dedicated to their well-being, their emotional well-being.
Right.
And when they find themselves in crisis, to know that Family Service is there,
right.
To pick them up and help them through this. And I think, given the stigma that is there, I think we want to kind of increase awareness of what mental health is,
sure.
or what mental health issues are, provide access to treatment and to counseling.
Right.
And then also spread the word that how we can help with each other as a community.
Absolutely.
And through community awareness. We all have friends and families, and I think it's incumbent upon each of us to be aware of how they're doing and reaching out and saying, can I help you? And when you see someone in trouble, being able to say, here's an option for you.
Exactly.
So I think that's kind of our
about
mission.
being a good citizen and a good neighbor in your community. Something else that I think is important is the number of people that you serve every year. And I understand it's over 500 people.
Over 500 people.
That's a lot of people.
And I wish we could do more.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's no shortage
sure.
of people that need help. And 500 doesn't sound like a large number, maybe in some minds, but compared to like a larger statewide kind of initiative. But these are directly impacting our community. These are people who are in need, and we could treat more.
Exactly.
There's a waiting list. So.
Well, if there's a waiting list, then you need to get on it and buy your tickets to this event. So you can go to localwineevents.com. And as I said, we're going to allow you the opportunity tonight to take advantage of a special price that's being offered through this program, 40% off the $100 ticket price. So you get your ticket for $90. Actually, that's not right math, is it? 40% off? No, that's not the right math.
But let's just say it's a very nice deal.
It's a very nice deal.
Yeah, $90.
Exactly, $90. So you get
for the reception.
Exactly. This is for the reception. So instead of $100, you can buy your ticket for $90. You just need to go to localwineevents.com and use this little tiny URL.com. The little tiny URL. Did you see how I said that?
$150.
Oh, the original price is $150. I have the wrong information here. So excuse me.
$150 is the reception.
So $150 is the reception, so you're getting it for $90. Now I understand the math.
Yeah, there you go.
But yes, go ahead and use this tiny URL. This will take you to that. You'll have the code that you need to be able to get that discount, and we hope you'll take advantage, because how important is this funding to your services?
It's critical, because while we get funding from state and county funding sources, one of the more important funding sources is unrestricted funding, which allows us to have more flexibility in developing the organization, whether it's in terms of staffing or increasing our ability to serve the community through marketing initiatives to let people know that we're there. A lot of those things you just need free, unrestricted dollars to do, and this fundraiser is an integral part of that.
That's terrific.
And of course, we get funding through the auction Napa Valley as well, and we're obviously very grateful for the community for that.
Good. So let's once again just sort of recap, and then I want to talk more about the special Jeff Mosier dinner one more time.
Okay.
But let's recap date, time.
So it's May 4th, Saturday, May 4th.
Saturday. Mm-hmm.
It's from 5 to 7:30.
Okay.
And it's being hosted at the Robert Mondavi Winery, which they've graciously done for us, and we certainly appreciate that. And then it'll be in the To Kalon Cellar. So.
Perfect. So you can't miss it, folks. Make sure you go ahead and get your tickets now at a special discounted price if you've been paying attention. Or if you've tweeted us at Toot Social, you could be getting a free ticket right now. So I know we've got somebody monitoring that right now. Let's talk a little bit about this very special dinner. Tell us the ticket price one more time.
So the ticket price for the dinner in combination with the tasting is $300. Okay. So it's both events included. There are tables of 8, so it's very intimate. It's not going to be a huge room full of people. It's probably going to be about 30 people.
That's great.
3-course meal. Obviously, Jeff's style is very California fresh.
Absolutely.
So California fresh salad going on to, I'm not sure what, I haven't seen the final menu.
Okay, he's still working on it.
He's working on it, but I know it'll be delicious.
It will be delicious.
We've given his style. And he'll obviously be working to pair it with a multitude of wines, because we're going to be working with various styles.
Excellent. So yet another opportunity. If you want a more in-depth food and wine experience, you could make a whole night of it with the tasting and the dinner, so don't miss out. How can people get more information on Family Service of Napa Valley?
The best place is our website, which is www.familyservicenapa.org.
Okay, terrific, good. So make sure you check that out as well. Also be sure to check out the Toot Sweet Social Club Facebook page, because tomorrow you may see more ticket giveaways going on. So you'll want to log on to Facebook, Toot Sweet Social Club, check it out, see what's happening, and perhaps you'll get the opportunity to win a free ticket to this wonderful event that's happening on Saturday evening. So thank you. Is there anything that we've missed here?
No, other than to say that I want to thank every citizen of Napa and the people of San Francisco that are attending this event, because it is changing lives.
Fabulous. Wonderful. Well, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope to see you there.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers.